Now, while loops look a lot like for loops. The main difference is that for loops is about doing something a certain number of times. What I mean by that is the code inside of the for loop, you would like to run that code like 5 times or 10 times or 20 times or whatever it is you need to do. A while loop is less about the number of times and more about when do you want the computer to stop. So essentially, you would like to perform some code over and over and over again forever until you tell the computer to stop. You don't care about how many times it goes. Maybe it's like 100. Like the amount of times it happens is irrelevant to you. You just want to let the computer know, hey, stop at this point. That's the difference between for and while loops. Let's do the syntax first. So as you may have guessed, it's got while and some parentheses. And then we need to make I'm gonna make a variable, but I can't make it inside the while loop. So for example, I cannot do like int j equals 0 inside the while loop. Okay, that's not kosher. All right, j, this variable needs to be declared or brought into existence before line 11. So I'm going to do int j equals 0. All right, and then I can use that variable for my while loop. So while j is less than 10, let's say. All right, so what this while loop means is like, hey, while the variable j is less than 10, do whatever in between these curly braces. So you'll notice that the for loop had curly braces, right? That means this is the beginning and end of the for loop. It's the same concept for the while loop. Here's the beginning and then here's the end. All right, so while we're in here, we're going to console.writeLine. Let's switch it up. J is equal to plus j, and then we'll do that. And then at the end of it, we're going to do j plus plus. Now you're saying, Jonathan, this looks like totally like the for loop above. I'm like, yeah, it kind of does. So I'm going to comment this other stuff out so we can see just our while loop stuff, and I'm going to run it. And as you can see, we're going to compare. We got 10 lines of output, but we only wrote a while loop, which only went from lines 11 to 14. But we had the computer output all this stuff, which is cool. All right, so let's run through how it works. While j is less than 10, so at the very beginning on line 10, we said j is equal to 0. Okay, j is 0. We get to line 11. Is 0 less than 10? Yes, 0 is less than 10. Then it will do lines 12 and 13. So line 12, j is equal to 0. Then we did j plus plus, so j went from 0 to 1. Remember, plus plus means go up by 1. All right, we got to line 14, and then we went back up to line 11. Okay, at line 11, is 1 less than 10? Remember, after the first go around, we did j plus plus, so j was 0, but now it's 1. So is 1 less than 10? Yes, 1 is less than 10. And then it will keep doing this over and over and over again until we get to, like, see how it prints out 9 but doesn't print out 10? Because we got to 9, so it printed out j is equal to 9. Then we did j plus plus, so 9 went to 10. J went from being 9 to being 10. And then when we got back up to line 11, 10 is not less than 10. That's not a true statement. Okay, 10 is equal to 10, but 10 is not less than 10. So because that statement is not true anymore, the while loop stops. Okay, once this condition is no longer met, the while loop ends. So you're probably thinking to yourself, Jonathan, these look basically the same. Like if I just made this 5, okay, how is this any different from the other for loop? All right, so if I just let's say I run both of these. Right? Like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And in this way, they can be used in a similar circumstance, right? So this would be a case where they're basically the same thing. You're thinking, okay, well, John, then why are there two different things? Typically, you'll use a while loop more for a condition that you don't know necessarily when it's going to stop. And I will give that to you in the next video. We're going to actually construct a situation where we would use a while loop more so than a for loop. But let's just make sure you understand the while loop. So we have while, and then the variable inside some condition. Remember, the variable has to be declared before the while loop. It's not like a for loop where you can declare the variable inside the for loop. All right, so j is less than 5, and then between the curly braces, we have some code. All right, and then it gets to line 14 and comes back up to line 11. It will just basically be a circle and go over and over and over again until this condition is no longer met. Now, one little piece of advice. The while loops can be very dangerous because, for example, let's say I forgot to put j plus plus here. Let's just say like I fat fingered it and it's like the comments or someone forgot this and I try to run this. See how it just keeps going and going and going and going and going? That's because like we haven't told it to stop. Okay, because J is 0, right? 0 is less than 5. It does line 12. If there's no J++ here, J just stays at 0. Therefore, this is always true. Therefore, as you can see, this loop goes forever. All right, the for loop is a little bit safer in that we tell it like I++ at the in it, so we know that I is going to go up or down depending on what we do. With a while loop, if we don't have that there, this while loop will, as you can see, this will go on literally for all eternity. All right, so just be careful to make certain that you can actually exit your while loop. But let's construct a situation where a while loop really kind of shines.